This video brought to you by the Oklahoma Employer Services Center and Oklahoma Child Support Services answers some common questions employers have concerning income withholding orders and how to determine the amount of wages to withhold.
Our first question is, what are mandatory deductions? Mandatory deductions are those deductions that are required by law. These include federal, state, and local taxes, Social Security taxes, Medicare taxes, statutory pension contributions, and other deductions required by state law.
It is important to realize that not all deductions are mandatory. Garnishments from collection agencies, car payments, and student loan payments are all examples of deductions that are voluntary.
Here's our next question. What is the formula for calculating disposable income? To calculate disposable income, you subtract mandatory deductions from gross pay, and the remainder is the amount of disposable income.
Calculating the amount of disposable income is the first step in determining whether or not the employee can pay the full amount of his or her child support order.
The next step is applying the CCPA limits. CCPA is an acronym for the Consumer Credit Protection Act, a federal law that protects consumers from having too much of their paycheck garnished. The CCPA also sets limits on the amount of a person's disposable income that can be used to pay child support.
Now let's answer this question. What are the CCPA limits that apply to employees with income withholding orders for child support? An employee who supports more than one family with no arrears or less than 12 weeks in arrears is limited to 50% of disposable income to be used for child support payment. An employee who supports more than one family and is more than 12 weeks in arrears is limited to 55% of disposable income to be used for child support payment. An employee who supports one family with no arrears or less than 12 weeks in arrears is limited to 60% of disposable income to be used for child support. And an employee who supports one family with more than 12 weeks in arrears is limited to 65% of disposable income to be used for child support. In arrears means there is past due unpaid child support owed by the employee.
Let's answer this question. How do you calculate allowable disposable income? The CCPA limits are used to calculate allowable disposable income. Allowable disposable income is the maximum that can be taken out of the employee's paycheck for the purposes of paying child support.
Here's the formula for finding allowable disposable income. Disposable income multiplied by the CCPA percent limit equals allowable disposable income.
Here's our final question. What do I do if an employee has multiple income withholding orders? When an employee has multiple IWOs, you as the employer must also determine how much of the allowable disposable income is remitted on each of the IWOs. The same basic rules apply, but there are some differences. First, we need to look at the different scenarios.
1. An employee may have all IWOs from Oklahoma Child Support Services, OKESC.
2. The employee could have all IWOs from different states.
3. The employee could have some IWOs from OKESC and other IWOs from another state.
And 4. He or she could have some IWOs from OKESC and other IWOs from a private attorney.
Oklahoma has chosen the pro rata method of allocation of child support when dealing with multiple IWOs. This means that the child support amount paid on an IWO is prorated based on a percentage of the total dollar amount of all the IWOs. One crucial piece of information to remember is that IWOs are never paid on a first-come, first-served basis. Armed with this knowledge, here is how the scenarios would break down.
Scenario 1. If all the IWOs come from OKESC, there is no need to prorate the amounts. The allocation will automatically take place at the State Disbursement Unit, or SDU.
Scenario 2. If all the IWOs come from other states, they must be prorated as long as Oklahoma is the primary place of employment.
Scenario 3. If one or more of the IWOs comes from OKESC and others come from other states, the pro rata method is used.
Scenario 4. If one or more of the IWOs comes from OKESC and others come from a private attorney, the pro rata method is used.
The first thing you must do before determining how much money is paid on each order is to calculate the allowable disposable income of the individual. Once that is accomplished, you then add up the total amount of child support owed and divide each order by that amount to determine what percentage is to be paid.
Calculating these amounts can be challenging, but it helps to ensure that children receive the support they need.
If you need more assistance, please call one of our Employer Services representatives toll-free at 1-866-553-2368, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Or visit our website, OKESC.org. Let us know how we can help you.